Okay, let's kick things off today with a little thought experiment. Imagine a room, right? And in this room, there are 10 people. All 10 of them are exactly 30 years old. They all live in the exact same neighborhood, they work at the exact same company, and they take home the exact same salary every single month. On paper, everything is literally identical. But you see, this isn't a story about identical lives. It's actually a story about a massive, invisible divide. So, fast forward exactly 5 years. Out of those 10 people, only one has completely paid off their car. Only one has an investment portfolio that's predictably growing every single month. And only one looks completely free of that classic grinding middle class financial stress. The other nine? Well, by the 25th of the month, they're squinting at their banking apps, basically praying the balance isn't flashing red. Same income, same city, same exact opportunities. So, why the massive gap? It's not a rich uncle, and it's definitely not a lottery ticket. It is a fundamental difference in mindset. Okay, let's dive into this and unpack the exact rules that separate the quietly rich from the rest. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the wealth illusion. Second, the spending trap. Third, mastering the math. Fourth, the defense strategy. And finally, we'll wrap up with the real scoreboard. All right, jumping right into section one, the wealth illusion, or how to stop the hamster wheel. Most people spend their entire lives trying to turn their income faucet on at full blast. But the quietly rich, they know a massive secret. The size of your paycheck absolutely does not determine if you're rich. Income is merely what comes into your pocket. Real wealth is what actually stays there. If you don't grasp this, you just become what our source material brilliantly calls a productive beggar. It's kind of like you're running incredibly fast on a very expensive hamster wheel, but you're going absolutely nowhere. Your ultimate goal isn't a massive paycheck. It's acquiring assets that make money for you when you aren't even in the room. And this brilliantly illustrates what we call the bathtub trap. Imagine your financial life is a bathtub. The tap pouring water in, that's your income. The drain at the bottom, those are your daily expenses. And the water actually pooling up in the tub, that is your true wealth. People go completely crazy trying to twist that tap to get more and more water flowing in. But they completely ignore the fact that the drain at the bottom is wide open. I mean, if all the water flows straight out, the tub stays empty no matter how strong the flow is. You absolutely have to plug the drain to build wealth. Which brings us to section two, the spending trap and surviving lifestyle inflation. Look, society very often confuses being cheap with being conscious. You might have a neighbor who drives a 5-year-old car and brings a packed lunch to work every day. Society calls them a cheapskate. But then, when it comes to buying a mattress or an office chair, they buy the absolute highest quality available. That is conscious spending. They're ruthlessly frugal on status symbols like, say, upgrading an iPhone just to show off, because they know that won't actually change their life. But they spend lavishly on health, sleep, and productivity. They're deliberately cutting their liabilities to feed their assets. And here is the silent killer that absolutely destroys wealth: the lifestyle inflation cycle. It goes like this. Step one, your salary goes up. Awesome, right? But then, step two, you immediately upgrade your apartment. You buy a bigger car, maybe start eating at fancier restaurants. So, step three, your net savings stay at exactly zero. Your income went up, sure, but your expenses rose to match it instantly. You're right back where you started. The quietly rich break this cycle. They take that increased salary and they funnel it straight into investments. They flat out refuse to upgrade their lifestyle until their assets can pay for those luxuries automatically. Let's move on to section three, mastering the math, the real engine of wealth. You've probably heard this quote by Warren Buffett: "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." This isn't just some motivational poster. It is basic human math. Honestly, the internet has kind of ruined the term passive income. We hear it, and we instantly think of some 22-year-old posing in front of a rented Lamborghini trying to sell you an online course. But real passive income isn't about sitting around doing nothing. It's about decoupling your effort from your time. It's building a system or investing capital once so that your money just multiplies itself in the background forever. To decouple time from money, you need the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. The saying goes, those who understand it earn it, and those who don't, well, they pay it. The quietly rich don't look at a dollar today as just a dollar. They look at the math. That one single dollar today is $50 20 years from now. So when they make the choice to skip a useless expense, they aren't just penny pinching, they are actively compounding their future freedom. Their brain is just always running this calculator. So the crucial point is, before you put a single dime into the stock market, you have to understand that your greatest asset is your own earning power. The quietly rich invest in themselves first, always. They upgrade their skills, their knowledge, and their network. And why? Because the stock market might crash tomorrow. Actually, scratch that, it will definitely crash at some point. Real estate might dip, but nobody can ever take away your competence. If you're continually improving yourself, your income and asset growth are mathematically guaranteed. All right, on to Section 4, the defense strategy, protecting your capital. 100%. Now, why is this massive number up here? Because the first rule of investing is don't lose money, and the second rule is don't forget the first rule. Amateurs always ask, how much can I make? But the rich, they ask, how much can I lose? Here's the brutal math of it all. If you invest and lose 50% of your capital, you don't just need a 50% return to get back to where you started. You need a massive 100% return just to get back to zero. That is exactly why capital preservation is so absolutely critical. They don't play the lottery, they play probabilities. A huge part of defending your wealth is knowing the difference between poison and medicine. Bad debt, like a 24% credit card used to buy clothes or electronics, that will eat you alive. It's toxic consumption debt. Good debt, on the other hand, is a low-interest loan used for a business or maybe a rental property. The rich never borrow money just to consume. They use debt as a lever. They're using other people's money to build their own assets rather than working just to pay installments that make the bank rich. And you know, defending your capital also means defending your mind. You've got to mute the noise. The world is going to constantly scream at you, invest now, the offer is ending, crypto is spiking, don't miss out. The quietly rich, they ignore all of this. They have literally zero fear of missing out because they know that if someone is rushing you into a financial decision, it's almost certainly a trap. Real, lasting wealth creation doesn't have emergency exits. It is delightfully boring, highly calculated, and wonderfully slow. And finally, Section 5, the real scoreboard, measuring what actually matters. Society will constantly ask you, so what's your salary? But the smart player asks themselves, what is my net worth? Net worth is simply your assets, your home, cash, stocks, minus your liabilities, which is everything you owe. Your salary is merely cash flow. It is not status. Someone can easily make $20,000 a month, but if their expenses are $20,000 a month, their net worth is a flat absolute zero. Net worth is the true meter of wealth, and frankly, it's the only scoreboard the quietly rich even bother to track. And that brings us to the ultimate question. The path to becoming the one person in that room of 10 who actually breaks free isn't blocked by a lack of knowledge. I mean, you likely intuitively knew a lot of what we covered today. The path is actually blocked by a lack of behavioral change.